Hi friends, happy Friday. My name is KJ Hamas. Namaste to you all. I'm so excited to welcome you to this Slow Flow plus Yin practice. So if you're just getting settled in, we'll need a couple of things here. Like with every practice, I recommend having a couple of yoga blocks or yoga block equivalents, so whether that's books or board games or whatever you've got hanging around, that's awesome. And then I also recommend for, especially the yin portion of our practice, a yoga bolster or a yoga bolster equivalent, aka a pillow. That pillow can come in real handy. And then feel free, you don't have pillows, you grab blankets, towels, whatever else you might need to replicate what you might have in the studio. So gather up all of those things. Tonight's practice, we're going to focus on kind of opening up our energy channels, or meridians as they're called. In Chinese medicine, our meridians are what allow the qi, or in the Indian tradition, prana, to travel throughout the body. So we want to have our energy evenly distributed so we can feel emotionally balanced, physically balanced, and mentally balanced as well. So we're going to do some work within that. So we'll start with a brief meditation, work into some movement, and then we'll go into the yin portion of our practice. And with yin, holding shapes anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes and sometimes longer. And I'll always let you know when we're getting into a yin shape and how long to hold it, along with what to do, so we can, be able to work through the discomfort as best we can. With that said, today we're going to go ahead and get started in a hero's pose. And there's a couple of options as we get started in there. First option is just coming right onto your knees, sitting back on your heels. Depending on how your knees feel, please feel free to put a blanket underneath them or a towel. Second option, especially too, this is really challenging on the ankles and on the knees, consider sitting on a block or a book. So you'll just place that in between you and then sit here behind, down on that. Legs will come long. So we're looking to just start to open up gently this front side of the body. The final option, again, depending on how you feel, is to sit in between the legs completely and be mindful of where your knees are at and how they're feeling today, because this is a deeper internal rotation and can have an effect on the knees. Two, also be mindful of the ankle joint. You may want to stick something underneath that if you'd like. It's really up to you. And so as we're here, just take a moment to start to draw in as I ring the bell to bring us here. And as we start to draw in, taking a moment to acknowledge teachers and practitioners who've come before us, reminding ourselves that our practice stems from an ancient tradition founded in India and is a practice of liberation and freedom. As you start to arrive on your mat, before completely coming inward, just take a moment to do one final acknowledgement of outside sounds. Sounds that are farther away, and then sounds that are closer to you. And as you let the outside world fade around you, begin to gradually draw the senses and focus inward, taking a moment along the way to acknowledge and show gratitude for what it took to come to your mat this evening. There might have been many obstacles in the way, a lot of trying to reconcile coming to your mat today with yourself. And so just take a moment to be proud that you made it, to show yourself some love and compassion, even if you're not feeling the best on your mat tonight. Letting the hands just rest wherever they feel good, and just start to dive deeper into the body, feeling all the way down to the littlest cell. And starting to think of our energy channels as rivers or streams. Begin to tune in to the movement of those waterways in your body. We just want to acknowledge how we're feeling, where the energy is flowing. And by energy, I don't mean that we're feeling like super up and positive or super down and low. There's a lot of little nuances to how our energy moves. And we're working to find just a general place of balance and centeredness within the practice. So we always think of energy as being up or down, and it can actually be in the middle. So just notice how that energy is moving through the body. Can you feel little vibrations of that deep within the layers of ourself? And this is a path of exploration, one that may not come fully today, but as you begin to deepen that exploration, that acknowledgement of how you're feeling, start to notice where you might be more open and you might be more stuck. So if you notice the energy, is it traveling easier through the arms? Does it feel like it might be getting stuck in the legs? Just things like that. Do you feel as if you tap into the breath, you're feeling bound up in the chest? Maybe you're feeling a bit more bound up in the belly. Just take a moment to acknowledge those places. And we do this without judgment. Just notice. And we may simply begin to label it as openness, can be blockage, closed, bound. Just to make it a simple naming, so you just start to notice the different points in the body and how you're feeling. Just as we began to name and acknowledge how the energy is moving in the body, how it's feeling, we'll do so with the breath. So bringing a gentle awareness to our breath. And just naming it inhale, naming it exhale. Matching that naming with the movement, with the action. Doing our best not to control the breath. And that's really hard because when we come onto our mat, we're like, oh, I'll go into Ujjayi breath or something else. So do your best and approach that again with a sense of compassion and self-love, knowing that you're not doing it wrong. And as we name the breath, notice how the breath is moving. So what happens on the inhale in your body? And what happens on the exhale? You might notice on the inhale, just to start, that the belly begins to expand. But on the exhale, maybe as an example, you feel the exhale getting stuck and it stops and it can't really escape. Again, we're just observing. And as you notice the breath, and to notice how the movement of the breath is affecting the body from the areas that we've already started to name. So again, you're feeling the breath in the belly, but the exhale is struggling. Were you feeling tight in the belly? And again, we're not spending too much time. We're just noticing, starting to connect those dots. So we can pay attention as we move throughout our practice. And then just bring the gentle awareness back to naming the breath. And as you do so, I invite you to set an intention or focus for your practice this evening. You may have one that you're working on that you came to your mat to cultivate. But if none comes to mind, I invite you to set an intention of awareness. Awareness and compassion and permission. Permission to feel what you're feeling, to acknowledge it, to know that you are awesome, and that you deserve love and compassion. As you're ready, just keep a gentle focus on your breath and gently blink open the eyes, removing any props that you may have used in that seat. And we're going to come onto our backs actually and start out in just a gentle inversion. You may not want to let that block go too far. So oftentimes we're sitting, and so the energy in the blood is moving from the head down to the feet. Let's take a moment here to switch that up. So lift your feet up to the sky. Feel free to use a wall if that's close, so legs up the wall. Or if you'd like, you can even place the block underneath your sacrum. I have to admit, my block is not super comfortable to do that with, so if you've got a block that's a bit more comfortable, great. We're not really engaging the core right now. We just want to let the legs rest as effortlessly up into the sky. And come back to naming the breath. So that's our focus today, just naming the breath. So as you feel that exchange of energy moving now from the feet down to the head, how is that affecting the breath? Then check back how you're feeling in terms of energy flowing. So is that energy, as the blood moves down, are the blockages or stoppages the same? Have things already begun to open up in a different way? Maybe new thoughts are starting to rise. And if that begins to happen throughout the practice, this can be thoughts or feelings, we'll take a moment just to name those two. So if a thought comes up, you can just simply label it thought or name it thought. And then if an emotion comes up, name it emotion or feeling, whatever calls to you most. And it might require some explanation, but right now, just stay with simple naming of that feeling or emotion. And maybe you'll track that feeling or that thought or emotion throughout the practice as the shapes change, as we open up a bit more. Just take one more full breath in here. And a full breath out. If you used a block, gently remove the block and bring your knees into your chest. Pausing here. Take a few circles on the ceiling with the knees to massage out the low back. And then either roll to the side or take just a simple cross of the leg and begin to sit on up. Pause for a moment in that comfortable seat to notice what happens in the body after we release the inversion, what happens to the energy, what happens to the breath, what happens to the mind. And then to change things up a bit, we're actually going to start with a yin shape, one that's going to help us move stagnant energy. And that's going to be a toe squat. So start to come back onto your shins. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me. You're going to curl the toes under and reach back. If you've got longer pinky toes like I did, reach back, make sure that pinky toe is involved. And then sit up nice and tall and sit back. So the energy channels, there are 6 energy channels that start and stop in the feet. And we're going to hold this for 1 minute. And I understand how challenging this shape can be because we don't spend a lot of time physically on our feet. We don't stretch them, we don't strengthen them. So we're doing that now, and that can be really challenging. So we want to use the breath to help us work through that challenge. And this is a great time because even as we're naming the breath, thoughts, feelings might start to come up. So take a moment. If that same feeling keeps coming up, then keep labeling it. Feeling, feeling, feeling. You're about 30 seconds down. But as I mentioned, there are 6 energy channels that start and stop in the feet. And as we come out of this, we're going to notice what changes in the body as we start to open that back up. Keep breathing. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. From here, go ahead and find your way to a tabletop shape. Uncurl the toes. I like to smack my feet on the ground just to move the blood around in a different way, and then pause here as you do so. Notice how you feel. Breathing here. Begin to find your neutral spine. So find a slight rounding in the upper back, crown of the head forward, hips back. No curve in the back. And when you find that neutral spine, you'll begin to notice it because you don't feel tension with the vertebrae and the joints. Take a full breath in here and a full breath out. We're going to move into cat-cow. So if you know where you're going, consider closing the eyes and moving the breath. If you're new to that movement, follow along with me to start. Inhale, we'll lift the hips, drop the belly, shoulders back, gaze go up. As we exhale, round through the hips, round the back, shoulders, gaze goes toward the belly button. So inhale, hips, belly, shoulders, gaze is last. Same thing with our cow pose. We'll round and start from the hips and bring the gaze inward. So keep moving here. Inhale, heart shines forward. Exhale, heart moves back, rounding across the back so we feel that broadening, that opening. Inhale and exhale. Take a few more breaths here. And think, even as we're shining the heart forward, we want to be open to the possibilities. But we also want to round through the back so we're not feeling closed off along the back side of the body. We're feeling safe, but again, open those possibilities. The front and back work in tandem. Take just a few more here. And then on your next inhale, as you're ready, go ahead and find your way back to that neutral space, pausing for the exhale, rooting into the earth. Start to bring your right knee, hover your right knee off the mat. And then as you exhale, flex the foot up, keep the knee at 90 degree angles. If you're trying to balance a platter or serve a platter up to the sky. Take a breath in. As you exhale, bring right knee to right elbow. Inhale, back up to placing that footprint on the ceiling. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Inhale, sends it back and up, internal rotation. Exhale, external rotation. Keep moving here with your breath. Gaze will be about 6 inches in front of you on the ground, so a nice neutral spine. The spine starts in the neck. We'll be here for just a few more breaths. So again, continue to name the breath. The movement that we're making is just helping us move stagnant energy around, to open up those energy channels so we can flow a little bit easier. And we can create more space for the breath, for our prana or chi. Take one more round, inhale. And then exhale. Pause here on this exhale. Leave the open out to the side like the dog at a fire hydrant. And just take baby pulses, inch up, inch down for 5. Small and slow for 4. Core is engaged. 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, send it back up, foot on the ceiling. And then exhale, bring it down, tabletop shape. Move to the other side, slow and steady. Inhale, flex the footprint on the ceiling. Exhale, hydrant out to the knee. Inhale, so we're warming up the core and we're moving with the breath. Keep moving here. Notice what's happening in the hips. What feelings or emotions or thoughts might be coming up right now. Try and keep your back as nice and straight as possible. Belly button is inching toward the spine. And not sucking it in, just engaging all of those core muscles so we find stability. Take 2 more, and we'll meet in that hydrant position. And let's take those baby pulses. Here we go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift up. And then exhale, set it down, tabletop. From here, round down through the hands, curl the toes under and lift the knees to hover 1/2 inch. Round through the upper back, really press through the ceiling. Not really moving the hips. Lift up the knees and then draw them back down. Engage through the core, warming up the strong center. So when we think of core, not only is it our back and our front, but in terms of our inner strength, we want to be able to resonate from there. Feel strong. 3, 2, and 1. Lean back in our neutral tabletop shape. Cross the ankles, sit the hips back, and then bring the legs forward for Dandasana staff pose. So sitting up nice and tall, toes are reaching toward the nose, crown of the head is lifting up. Come back to the breath. Let's stay here and name the breath. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Breath in. Breath out for this last one. Let's take a few more. Draw the chin to the chest. Locking your throat chakra. So when we open up the heart, we'll still be able to open this up so our voice can truly come through. Take 3 more breaths. Staying in this position, we're going to take a row. So as you inhale, reach the arms up as if you're pulling something up. And then as you exhale, roll forward as if you're on a rowing machine. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, roll. Take just a few more, getting the rhythm in the body. Inhales up, exhales down. Keep the movement of the breath flowing. Finishing out your last row, inhale, we'll reach up. And then exhale, you're going to take a forward fold. Let the hands reach where they will. Feet, ankles, calves, maybe even on the ground. Let the spine go nice and long. Feel as if you're hinging from the hips. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out, bringing your hands behind you. On the inhale, lift up to a reverse plank. Let the head hang heavy if that feels good on the neck. Toes can reach for the ground. If you prefer, come into a reverse tabletop shape, but keep the heart shining forward. Feel the front side of the body open. Breath in. Exhale, slowly lower back down, Dandasana staff pose. So we're going to move that a little bit faster. Inhale, lifts up. Exhale, takes the row. Sorry, everybody. We're moving that from the beginning. My bad. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, row forward. Inhale, up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse plank. Exhale, Dandasana staff pose. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, row. Inhale, up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse plank. Exhale, Dandasana. Take a few more on your own. As you know the movements, maybe you close the eyes. Let the breath be your guide. Move nice and slow. Use the full breath to make the shape. Inhale, rose up. Exhale, rose you forward. Inhale up. Full fold here. Inhale, open the heart. And exhale back down. Last time. We're all going to meet in that reverse plank. So we're going to come into a plank from here, a normal plank. You can stay right here. You can come down and just flip it over, or you can just slowly start to walk your hands. Up to you. There's no right or wrong. Take a deep breath in your plank. Deep, slow breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Drawing the knees down to the earth. Inhale. Exhale, lower chest and belly all the way down. Before we come into our flow here, we're going to warm up the back. So bring your arms nice and long. I got to move out just a little bit. Arms are long in front of you, legs are behind you. As you inhale, lift up chest and arms as if you're flying your Superman. Then as you exhale, swing the arms behind you. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, swim the arms. Maybe you start to bring the palms face up for a rotation. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Last time. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale, come forward. And exhale, lower down. Keeping the elbows in front of the shoulders, hands at an 11. Rise up, Sphinx pose. So with our Sphinx pose, we're pressing into the forearm. Think about the heart guiding you forward. Nice neutral neck. Gaze will be about 6 inches in front of you on the ground. So try not to let the neck collapse. Even if you draw the chin in, that's fine. The neck doesn't collapse. The energy is still there. And if the neck is collapsing, if you feel your shoulders collapsing, maybe ask yourself why. What could be manifesting itself in our shoulders physically? Let's take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Inhale, Sphinx, shine the heart. Exhale, lower down. Hands come underneath the shoulders. Inhale, tabletop shape. And then exhale, downward facing dog. So our first downward facing dog of the day, go ahead and pedal out the feet. Maybe move from side to side, whatever feels good for you and your body. Think about opening up the back side of the legs. Let that be the focus physically here. But notice what's happening in the spine as well. Maybe during your initial observation of your body, you felt that the spine was tense. There was things happening there, so that might be the focus. Or you might be like, no, my hamstrings. There's something else going on the back side of my legs. We'll take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. We're going to expand that flow a little bit. So as you inhale, roll forward to a plank pose. As you exhale, come back to downward facing dog. Right hand comes to left ankle, shin, calf. Inhale, roll forward, high plank. And then exhale, lower all the way down to the belly. We're skipping the swimmers. Inhale, lift up, Sphinx pose. From here, you can either lower down on the exhale and come through your tabletop on the inhale, or as you exhale, press up, dolphin pose, up to you. So I'll show both options. Stay here in dolphin pose, everybody who's in dolphin. If you'd like to take the other way, you'll inhale, Sphinx pose, exhale, lower. And then you'll come into tabletop in a moment. For those of you in dolphin pose, press here. Think about pressing through the forearms, and as you inhale, walk the feet in. Trying to press into both hands at the same time. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward, high plank. Exhale, down dog twist. Left hand to right shin, calf, or ankle. Moving here, flowing. Inhale, roll forward. Exhale, lower all the way down to the belly. Inhale, Sphinx pose. Exhale, lower or dolphin pose. Inhale, walk the feet in or tabletop. And then exhale, press up. Downward facing dog. Everybody inhale, roll forward. Exhale, down dog twist, right hand to left leg. Inhale, roll forward. And then exhale, lower it down. Inhale, Sphinx. Exhale, dolphin or lower. Inhale, tabletop or walk the feet in. Exhale, press up. Downward facing dog. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, left to right. Inhale, high plank. You know where we're going. We're going to do that one more time. Each side, lower down, move with your breath. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. Take a full breath in here. And a full breath out. Let's draw the knees down. Come into child's pose. Release the hands down by the sides. Shake them out. So our heart meridian, one of the things that we're working on opening in our lung meridian, run along in our arms. So we're working to strengthen that out, and we'll open them up a bit soon too. Let's take one more breath in here, and full breath out. As you inhale, start to reach the arms nice and long, curl the toes under. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bring big toes to touch. Taking a double leg lift. Inhale, left leg will float to the sky. Exhale, step it down. Inhale, right leg will float to the sky. And as you exhale, bring the right hand outside, and the right foot outside the right hand. Coming into a lizard pose. Stay nice and tall here. Breathe. Back heel is pressing behind you. You can always drop the knee if you need it, or you can stay lifted. So as we move into some of these shapes too, notice where the challenges present itself. Try and use the breath to work through those challenges. So we'll take a breath in, shine your heart forward. As you exhale, bend the elbows, as if you're taking a baby push-up. Inhale, heart shines forward. Exhale, bend the elbows. So keep moving here. If the bend in the elbows, the little push doesn't feel good, shine the heart forward, and then just round the back, bring it in, stay low in the front knee. Take one more here. Inhale, shine the heart forward. Exhale, push up around the back. Inhale, straighten the arms, turn the back toes. As you exhale, open up, warrior two. Pause here in this warrior two. Bring your gaze out over the middle finger. Breathe. And actually, almost bring your gaze to your pinky finger. So our heart meridian, it stops and starts in either pinky finger. So we're just gonna lovingly send some energy to that part. Maybe roll out the wrists. From here, on your next inhale, stay low in the leg. I know our legs are gonna feel it, but we're using that strength, that energy, to help us open up the front side of the body. So right hand underneath the left, eagle arms. Face the front leg. Inhale, lift. And then as you exhale, open up, cactus arms, open the chest. Inhale, eagle arms, lift up. Exhale, open the chest. Stay low in the front knee. So if you're finding eagle arms, this doesn't call to you, whether it's your shoulders or it's just too much emotion, like give yourself a really big hug. And maybe we just need the big hug instead because we haven't had a hug today. So keep moving here. On your next inhale, go ahead and take one more round. And on your next inhale, open the arms back out, sink a little deeper, warrior two. Inhale, star pose, come through center. And then exhale, take your warrior two toward the left foot. Breathing here. So we're going to sink low into the leg. Core is engaged. So again, we're not sucking it in. We're just drawing the ribs together, belly button gravitating toward the spine. Look over at your pinky finger, the starting and stopping points of our heart meridian. Maybe you roll out the wrists a little bit. Get some action going in there. From here, stay low in the knee stacked over the ankle, left arm underneath or left arm on top, big hug. Inhale. Exhale, open up. Chest is shining forward. Inhale. Eagle arms or big hug. Exhale, open up. Let the heart shine, the chest shine. Keep moving here. Pressing through the feet. You don't even really notice the strain in the feet. Or you can laugh at me and not go, I notice all of it. That's fine. We'll just take a few more here. Take your last one. And on your next inhale, bring your hands inside your left foot. Find your lizard pose once again. So feel free to drop the back leg. You can stay on the hands as you inhale. Always shine the heart forward. Exhale, either bend the elbows or round the back. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, back. Take a few more here. Next inhale, frame your front foot. And as you exhale, quietly step back, downward facing. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Notice how you feel right now in this shape. So let's use this shape, this inversion, as a moment to pause. Continue to label the breath. Inhale. Name the breath. Exhale. Bringing big toes to touch, double leg lifts. This time right side. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, set it down. Inhale, left leg floats. Exhale, step the foot in between the hands, low runner's lunge. So feeling the foundation here, grounding down through the left big toe mound, right heel back. Keep your right hand planted. Inhale, take a simple twist. Gaze comes up to the top hand. Work to stack shoulder on top of shoulder. Left hip draws back, right hip draws forward. Hips are even. Inhales. Exhales. Inhale, start to bring your left forearm to your left thigh. And as you exhale, we're going to come up into extended side angle. So our top hand is going to either reach straight up or hand's going to reach forward. So again, decide what works best for you. There's no right or wrong here. It depends on which school of thought you come into, what lineage you practice. I've seen it done both ways. Some days I'm just like, no, this feels better. Other days, hand reaching forward feels better. If the arm is up, try to stack shoulder on top of shoulder, broadening across the collarbone. Stay low in the front knee. If the fingertips are reaching forward, palm is down, maybe even the pinky starts to rotate down. Gaze can come down to the foot or it can come up to the hand, again, without compromising the neck. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Star pose transition. Inhale, lift up, star. Exhale, take your extended side angle. So right forearm will come down, left arm will reach up to the ceiling or forward. Press through the outer edge of the back foot so you're feeling a stretch. And don't collapse into the right side. Focus on the breath. The shape is just a way for us to make more space in the body. Inhale. Exhale. Take one more breath in. Breath out. As you inhale, frame the right foot, low runner's lunge. Let's pause here. Round down through our right big toe mounds. The left hand stays planted. On your next inhale, open up. Gaze will come to the top hand. Breathing here. Let's take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhale, frame the front foot. As you exhale, let's bring our hands inside the foot. Come on down to the forearms. From here, step your right foot back, forearm plank. Feet can be hips width distance apart. Round through the back. Send the heels back, head forward. Breathe. Draw the ribs in together. Belly button is gravitating toward the spine. Try closing your eyes. Notice what happens. Bring the focus internal. Don't worry so much about the shape. What's going on? And slowly lower the knees down. Sit back. Find your child's pose. Let's take a deep breath in and a deep, slow breath out. We're going to come back into an inversion here. So if you have another inversion in your practice that you'd like to try and you feel comfortable doing in your home, please feel free to. If you're following along with me, we're going to come onto our backs and bring our legs once again back up to the ceiling. Feel free to use your block here. Placing it underneath the sacrum. If you find you're using the core too much to help lift the legs, scoot it down. Let the arms rest, maybe by the sides, or even notice what happens if you bring the arms overhead. Start by naming the breath. And start to go deeper here, tapping back into those energy channels. What do you notice? As you do that, if thoughts and feelings start to come up, just take a moment and name those. Let's just try and keep it simple tonight with thought and feeling. There's no judgment for what comes up. It's like the areas to continue to explore down the road. By naming them, we're acknowledging them. And by acknowledging them, it's not a bad thing. It's letting what's happening in our body be happening in our body. Let's take one more breath here. Breath out. If you used a prop, gently move it off to the side and bring your knees into your chest. Take a few circles on the ceiling, massage out the low back. And then either roll onto your side or just simply cross the ankles and find your way back on up. We're going to take our toe squat once again as we move into the yin portion of our practice. I know you're all thinking we got toe squat out of the way, but we want to check with maybe what has changed or what new has come up since we moved the energy around. So sitting back on your knees, curl the toes under, reach back for that pinky toe. We'll be here. So close the eyes here. And back to the breath. You know where you're going with the breath. There's a moment to be able to draw in. And while this shape gets more challenging, because it likely will, we don't spend a lot of time on our feet, or maybe the second time around, you're like, oh yeah, I got this. But can you continue to stay with your breath even through this challenging shape? You're about 30 seconds away from the end. Let this be your time. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Slowly release. Go ahead and just push out those feet. And then sit back. Come into your hero's pose. You won't be here for very long, so you might not go too deep. If it's comfortable to sit on your ankles, now please do so. Just let the hands rest where they will. What do you notice? And as you're ready, just gently blink open the eyes. And we're going to come into a dragon cycle on each side. So with dragon cycle, we're looking to get into the hip joint and open up this front right hip flexor. As we move toward opening up really the heart meridian in the front side of the body. We'll be holding our dragon cycle for 2 minutes, and we'll start on the left side. So let's bring our left foot in between your hands. Feel free to have blocks on either side of the foot, just depending on where you're at today. Let the back leg be long, and you may even want to place a blanket or a towel underneath the knee. If you're working in hardwood and maybe your mat's a little thinner or wearing out, you could use the extra support. So you have a couple of options. We're going to hold you're going to choose an option and try and stick with it. So the first option is hands outside the foot on blocks from the ground for baby dragon, a la baby shark. You're welcome. From here, you can reach the hands onto the thigh for dragon flying high. You can bring the hands inside the foot for dragon flying low. Or you can open up the left foot out to the side for a twisted dragon. Okay? So pick your option and try and stick with it. So at first it might be challenging. And you might be like, no, I want something else so it'll be easier. If that is the thought that pops into your mind and there's no pain in the body, I'm going to invite you to stay with it. That's hard. We're always looking for the instant gratification, the thing that's just going to be over the fastest. And that's not always the best. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it there. Feeling a stretch along our right hip flexor. Breathe here. Maybe even close the eyes. Find your breath. Name the breath. Ignore the motorcycle that just went by. About 30 seconds left here. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Gently, slowly start to come out of the shape. And either find your way onto your belly or onto your back. Let's take a brief puddle pose. So as we work toward not only integrating the energy that's been released in the body, some of the blockages that might have occurred, or just allowing things to move a little bit better, we want to use this opportunity to tap back in. And from here, very gently roll your way onto your left side. Pause for a moment. Maybe give yourself a real big hug. And then as you're feeling steady, begin to gently find your way back up to that comfortable seat. And then we're going to switch sides. So we're going to bring our right foot forward. So you'll notice that we're starting on the left side as we come into the yin portion, because the left side is considered the yin side of the body. It's the side that's associated with our moon energy, our more cooling energy. Whereas the other part of the practice, we tended to start on the right, which is our sun energy. So our right foot is forward. Pick your variation. Again, hands framing your foot, baby dragon, hands on top of the thigh, dragon flying high. Hands inside the foot, dragon flying low, or twisted dragon. 2 minutes here. Don't focus on the time. Don't worry about the time. So it's during these moments of stillness, and particularly these moments of challenge, the brain might start to take us away. So if you notice that, pause for a moment and ask yourself what you might be avoiding in the present. And as thoughts or feelings come up, take a moment to non-judgmentally and lovingly name those. About 30 seconds left here. Let's take a deep, slow breath in and a deep, slow breath out. Gently come out of this shape and then find your way onto your belly for puddle pose. And this might be a good opportunity just to grab a bolster or your blanket. You may want to use it for the next shape. So as you pause here, what do you notice? Let's take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. From here, bring your hands to an 11. We'll come into Sphinx pose. So this is where your yoga bolster or yoga bolster equivalent may come in very handy. You can place it underneath the chest to provide a little additional support. So to help you stay with the heart shining forward. You're going to feel some compression on the low back, but we're concentrating on opening all across the front side of the body. So here, if you want to feel less compression in the back, you'll just walk the elbows away. Maybe even to feel a little bit more or feel a lengthening along the front side of the body, consider walking the elbows back in or even straightening the arms into more of a seal pose. Neck is nice and neutral. And you can always draw the chin to the chest, locking our throat chakra. So even as you're taking the chin to the chest, you're not collapsing in the shoulders. The heart is still shining. Think about that. So as we continue to draw our awareness to the breath, see how it feels to have the breath begin to resonate more in the heart space as it moves through that. Let the other parts of the body just start to relax. And can you give yourself permission to just feel what you're feeling? About 30 seconds left here. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Begin to lovingly lower your way down. Maybe let the arms rest by the sides. And then feel free to stay here for a moment as I talk through the next shape. There's two options to take just depending on how you're feeling emotionally and physically. So the first option will be heart melting pose, and I'll demonstrate that first. And then the second option will be mantis pose, or that is what we call child's pose sometimes in it. So for heart melting pose, you're going to get a deeper opening in the shoulders and particularly across the front side of the chest. Hence why it's heart melting pose. So from here, you'll start in a tabletop, keeping the hips lifted above the knees. You're going to walk the arms out in front of you and let the heart draw to the ground. Chin can be on the ground, or you can bring the forehead. Feel free, as if you want to take this pose and you notice that there's just space between the heart and the ground, create new ground for yourself and use your blanket or your bolster. and lower onto that. So that's option one. And again, that's going to be a deeper opening of the shoulders, could be a little bit more strain on the shoulder joint, and it's really going to open up the heart. But we can still open up the heart in our mantis pose. So for that, you'll come sit back, bring the knees as wide as the mat if that feels good, big toes to touch. You may want your blocks here for this, for support. You'll place them on either side. So you can take a traditional one where your arms are long, or you can bring the elbows onto the blocks and come into a prayer hands. And then draw the thumbs to the nape of the neck behind you. So still opening the heart, still getting that gentle opening on the shoulders, but you're going to have more support with blocks potentially, depending on how your shoulders feel. So those are the options. Again, you can always just bring the arms nice and long, or just if you're like, I just want to focus on the breath, stay in child's pose, bring the arms behind you. Those are your variations to choose from. We have 3 minutes here. Go ahead and take a minute to get adjusted. And I'm going to start our clock now. About 30 seconds left here. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Wherever you're at, find your way to your puddle pose. Just notice how you feel. So we're still naming the breath, but the effort of the breath gravitating a bit toward less effort. And then take a full breath in, full breath out. Roll over onto your left side. I'm just going to roll onto my right because nobody needs to see my behind. Give yourself a really big hug here. And then as you feel steady, go ahead and just start to make your way back up. So for our next shape, we're going to really think about opening up the front side of the body. And I recommend having a block here. So we're going to try and get into the hip flexors at the same time. And this is where a block can come handy. If you have cork blocks like I do and they've got that fun bevel on them, maybe place a towel over it because that bevel can sometimes be not so great as it digs into your back. As much as we would love for them to be as comfortable as possible. So you're going to set your block underneath your sacrum as if you were coming into a supported bridge. And our sacrum is down toward the end of our tailbone. It's bigger there. And roughly like pant line, give or take. So start by setting that underneath your sacrum and leaning on back. And as you're sitting here in this bridge, this supported bridge pose on the lowest level, just notice how engaged the core is at. And if it's too engaged, move the block down. Let the hands rest. You can stay here if you're like, this is just what I need right now. Feel free to do so. But if you'd like that deeper lengthening across the front side of the body, that deeper opening, and you're feeling emotionally ready for it, extend the legs out. You might want to consider, too, depending on what's going on with the back, when you do that, you might place your other block underneath the back, too, just for a little additional support. Feel free to move things around as you'd like. And then we're going to be here for 3 minutes. Just let the arms rest by the side. See if you can allow yourself to be supported by the block. And when I say allow, sometimes we don't always let ourselves do that. We might feel as if we don't trust the props, we don't trust the ground, so we've got to hold on. See if you can let go just a little bit. And then as you do this, let's tune back into the body. Moving into the deeper levels to those streams of energy. How do you feel? What do you feel more importantly? About 30 seconds left here. Take a deep slow breath in and a deep, slow breath out. Begin to lift your knees back on up to the ceiling if you have them straight, and lift the hips to gently remove the block. Straighten the legs once again. And release down, Savasana, your final resting pose. So here, let go, focus on the breath. Let the mind gently rest. See if you can sink deeper into the mat. And begin to feel the weight of your body on the earth. Start to invite some gentle movement back into the body by wiggling fingers and wiggling toes. Take your time to gently transition to a comfortable seat at the top of the mat. Let your hands either rest in your lap. When you do get there, hands can rest on the knees, palms face down, or palms can face up. And before we leave the mat, let's take a moment. Just check back in and notice what's happening within our energy channels. How do you feel? How are they moving in the body? The areas that were stuck before, have they been released? New areas popped up. And what about the breath? What do you notice there? Check in with the mind. Is it softer? Is it quieter? It's okay if there's still a lot of thoughts. Yoga is a long exploration. And as we move from this portion of our practice back up into the rest of the world, continue to extend yourself compassion, love, non-judgment. Lifting your hands to your heart center, honoring the intention or focus you may have set at the beginning of your practice. Bow your heads in a moment of gratitude, thanking yourself for making time for your mat, and then silently thanking those who joined us to create this virtual community. As we lift our thumbs to the space between the eyes, the third eye center, the seat of the intuition, know everything you need is already inside. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace Peace Peace. Thank you all so much for joining me on this Friday evening. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Please consider joining me again at 5:30 on this coming Sunday for Yin Yoga. So just the second half of this practice for a full 60 minutes. Thank you so much. Bye. Bye, Mom.